Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. This is Dr. Makemba. We welcome you on this platform once again. We invite you to join us on this platform and engage us on this platform as we continue with our Wonders of Wisdom series. Today we are going to be looking at yet another very interesting subject matter. We'll be talking about friendship. We'll be going into the definition of what a friend is, some wisdom nuggets on how to go about identifying individuals that are worth befriending, and also identifying individuals that might seems to be your friend, but in a nutshell, they might not necessarily be your friend. Let's start off by defining what a friend is. A friend is basically a person with one that you have a bond with based on a mutual affection, meaning that a friend is somebody that you find yourself closely attached, associated, attracted to, either based on a mindset that both of you have, or in an outlook on life, or based on what you are trying to achieve with your life, and they are sort of also headed in a similar direction, and you're able to draw strength, wisdom, insight, and courage from that person in running your race and in achieving what you set out to do with your life. That is basically what a friend is. Now, the English word or the English saying is that, birds of the same feathers, they often flock together. There is so much wisdom in that statement, in a sense that, these feathers basically represent your value systems. You understand? In other words, that you tend to find yourself in a company of individuals who you share similar value systems with all of the time. If not all of the time, at least most of the time. However, also you find a group of people that have no value system whatsoever. So any group, that comes their way, they jump on the wagon and they want to ride with. And oftentimes these are individuals that get destroyed along the journey, because they have no wisdom in discerning people's motives. They are not able to read in between lines and pick up, the people's intention, and they just simply seemingly, tend to just go with the flow with everybody that comes along their path. And, they actually learn in retrospect when damage has been done already, when they have been hurt already. They look back and realize, but this kind of people, I thought they were my friends. I thought they had my best interest at heart, but look at what they have done to me right now. So I'm just here coming today, just talking to you about, gaining some wisdom on how to go about identifying, individuals that you might want to befriend yourself with, So let's first start looking at, some, very interesting fact about friendship. Now, people in your life, they can either build you up, that is, they will increase you, or they bring you down, that is, they decrease you, or they neutralize you. Now, it's very important that first and foremost, before you go on a quest of, befriending people, first get to know who you are. Define who you are as an individual. Define what your purpose is in life. Ask yourself the most difficult questions. Who am I? Why am I here on earth? What is it that I am trying to achieve with my life? Where am I headed to? And after I have come and my time has come and I pass, what is it that I want this planet to remember me for? Once you have answered those questions, you are most likely going to identify your purpose. And you will be able to define how to get to fulfill that purpose. And when that is taken care of, then you need to identify the group and the kind of people that are going to be instrumental in seeing you fulfill that mandate that you have set out for yourself. And when you do that, it then helps you identify the kind of people you want to associate with. Now, it's very interesting, to see what young people do nowadays, And when you look at people in defining this, concept of friendship and, of course, trying to establish a group of people to associate with, it's very puzzling to me to see that a lot of people, especially young people, by far, most of the time, they associate with groups that are very dangerous to their own identity, destructive to their own purposes in life. Yet they hold so dear to these groups and they call these individual friends. There's a saying that insecurity is very loud and confidence is silent. In other words, you find a lot of people that are so insecure in who they are. They make decisions in association. They associate with these groups that are always just making all the kinds of noises that are not making sense. They go out, they go have what they call fun, for instance. All right. They go drinking, partying, They are out there doing destructive things. And most of the time, especially young people, call this fun. I'm having fun with my friend. I'm having I'm having a time of my life. I'm just being young. I am being, that which I've always and ever dreamt of becoming, But literally what they are doing is they are lying to themselves. And oftentimes they are just doing it to fit in this crowd of people. And most of the time when they are alone by themselves, everything else they have done in the crowd now comes dawning on them. And they look at themselves in the mirror. They don't like what they see, simply because of what they've done, the kind of crowd they associate with. It's not very wise for you to waste your time associating with people that are taking you away from the purposes of your life, people that are not building you up. You understand? It will not build you. It will not do you any good. Ask those that have been in those groups before and in those crowds before. And the one thing that I've also observed is that you find these individuals sometimes, you associate with them, all right? They mislead you, okay? But then when the penny drops in their own personal life and they've discovered who they are and what they want to do with their life, and now they have decided to become serious with who they want to be, guess what? You will be the first one to be kicked out of their life. They wouldn't want to associate with you. They wouldn't want to do anything with you. Why? Because they have watched and they have known you for the time that they've spent with you. And now they have discovered their purpose and they realize this kind I don't want in my inner circle if I am to get where I'm headed to. And then you will be left all high, dry and hanging because now this person has now discovered who they are, where they want to be with their life, and they have now put you in the category where they have deemed you not fit to be part of their inner circle and they've kicked you out. But that is the very same person that have been wasting your life all along, wasting your time all along, getting into all kinds of things that don't benefit you. Especially young people, I want us to wake up, and realize that we are not going to be young forever. Sometimes it's best to appear lonely, to be by yourself as you are discovering yourself. Set out, your principles that you want to live by. Establish yourself as an individual. First, discover who you are. The peace that comes when you know who you are, it's something that you cannot, trade for anything. And when you understand yourself, as I've said earlier, it is now easier to define who get access to your inner circle. In the Bible, for instance, we read in the book of Psalms, chapter 1, verse 1 through to verse 2. It says, "Blessed is a man that does not walk in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the seats of the sinners, And then it goes on to say that he delights in the law of the Lord, and he will be like a tree planted by the rivers. David was actually addressing an issue of association by that statement. To say, as an individual, you need to understand that your associates, eventually defines who you become. I don't care how strong you think you are. If you hang around a particular group of people with a particular mindset long enough, you just end up with the same mindset, behaving exactly like that particular group that you're hanging around with. No matter how principled you are, if you are associating with people that lack principle, eventually your principles will just disappear in thin air. The Bible also wants us not to be equally unyoked with unbelievers. Also, it has to do with association and friendship. All that verse is saying to us in 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 14 is that we must not associate ourselves with people who do not share the same value systems and principles which we live by, because they will distort our reality and destroy us, take us out of our purpose, and plug us into something altogether that we have not even set out nor planned for our lives. Wisdom is a principal thing, and in all thy getting you should get understanding, as Proverbs 4 verse 7 put it. This issue need a lot of wisdom, maturity, and understanding. And if you find yourself in a wrong circle of people, there's also a way that you can go about coming out of that circle without offending people. You don't have to go out and calling them names and pointing them out and telling them why you cannot associate with them anymore. No. You can just withdraw yourself slowly and silently. And whenever they invite you to their shenanigans and all their outings, you just get to develop a wisdom approach to everything. You tell them, I'm busy, I cannot make it today. They invite you the second time around. No, I've had other plans already. Eventually, before you know it, they will reach that level and that point where they say, but this fellow, we keep inviting him, he doesn't really come out, he doesn't really want to associate with us, so let him be. And then guess what? You are free from that group. You are now able to be your own person. You are able to be, an individual that is able to make decisions that are able to build you up. You are in the right frame of mind, you are thinking properly. You are not negatively influenced in the choices that you make with your life. And you are being effective and you are building yourself up. It's very interesting if you read about the story of Jesus in the book of Matthew 26, when he went to the Garden of Gethsemane. This was just a few hours before his crucifixion. He was praying and saying, God, if it be, let this cup pass me by, but nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done. Now, it's very interesting that Jesus said, 12 disciples, one betrayed him. And at that point in the Garden of Gethsemane, he only took 3 with him. He took Peter the apostle and the 2 sons of Zebedee, which is John and James. Even Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, understood that, it's very important to be careful in who you allow in your inner circle. And this was a pivotal point of his life. He knew when he came on this planet, he came to die and shed his blood and redeem the world from sin and unrighteousness. And he knew that if he allowed so many people in the inner circle, they might attempt to keep him from fulfilling his mandate. So he picked 3 that he deemed close to him, that he deemed principled enough to support him in fulfilling his mandate. I've heard an individual one day made a statement, says that if you are lucky in this world, the maximum number of individuals that you can have, that you can call friends, is 5, if you are lucky. Anything beyond that is association, not friendship. And of course, if you are married, if you are in courtship, your best friend probably should be your spouse, your girlfriend. And then, of course, you add in 2, 3 more other individuals. Even in the areas of relationships, most of the relationships are breaking down today because people are not dating, people are not married to their best friends. Isn't it funny? You are married, you have a wife or you have a husband, but you have a best friend who is not your wife or who is not your husband. It doesn't make sense, does it? And we destroy ourselves like this. Why? Because we lack understanding. So then you go outside your marriage covenant, confining yourself into strangers of things that should only be confined into your spouse, who's supposed to be your best friend, all right? And then these friends, they give you stupid advices. You come home, you behave like an animal, you mistreat your own spouse, you don't talk to your wife, you don't talk to your husband, you mistreat your husband, you mistreat your wife, and then there's no peace in your home. Why? Because you think, your best friend told you how to deal with him. You understand what I'm trying to say, And this is destroying us as people. And it's often because we lack understanding, we lack insight, we lack simple principles, we lack wisdom. And as you think about, the kind of people that are in your life right now, I want you to ask yourself this very tough question. Are these people building me up? Are they decreasing me? Are they neutralizing me? Anybody that is decreasing you should go. Anybody that is neutralizing you should go. You are only going to make it if you associate and you keep the company of people that are going to build you up. Hear me very well. If the person is not building you up, don't waste another day. It's not worth it. You don't want to be 60 years old and look back on your life one day and say to yourself, only if I had made this adjustment at 30, I would have ended up at a different place in my life. Because, the kind of people you are around in your inner circle that you call friends have the capacity to define your destiny. And if you have the wrong crowd around you, you will end up at the wrong destination. You will end up at a place that you have never planned for your life to start with. And of course, this is not to say that you should be hating people and not wanting anything to do with people. It's okay. You could associate with people by greeting them when you run into them, remembering their birthday and send them a birthday wishes. It's fine. But not everybody is allowed to be in your inner circle. I mean, if you entertain stupidity for a very long time, you end up being stupid and not realize it. If you entertain ignorance for a very long time, you will end up ignorant and not realize it. This is just how it is, unfortunately. So go out there, think about, what we have just discussed now on this clip. Do a self-introspection, search yourself. Remember, you live once only. You only have this one life. You gotta make it count. You gotta do the right thing. Preserve your destiny by cutting out ignorant people from your life. Preserve your destiny by cutting out people that are misleading you. Preserve your destiny by associating with people that have your best interest at heart. And remember, finally, as we're about to go off air, I just want to say, your best friend is somebody that loves you so much that even when you have messed up, they are willing to stay around and help you come up again. Till we meet again. Tata.